Alright, what's up YouTube? My name is The Air, and today I'm going to be talking about kind of just general weapon balance. I won't be going over heavy weapons today. I think I'll go over heavy weapons in the next video. So, with that being said, let's get into it. Okay, so basically, in the current meta, I would say it's completely dominated by auto rifles and scout rifles. Now, the reason being is because they're both so versatile. When you swap to these weapons, you are rarely going to have to swap off of the weapon. The AR's ranges pretty much anywhere from very close, or nearly very close, all the way into pretty long range. Everyone watching this video probably remembers at some point in time being completely mapped by Uriel's Gift. And scout rifles work in a similarly versatile manner. The scout rifles are essentially max range. Range stat does not matter on scout rifles. If it's a scout rifle, the range is essentially max. There's almost no damage fall off whatsoever. So with the scout rifle, you are essentially infinite range to medium range, borderline close, depending on, someone's movement and if they're hitting their shots or not. You can get pretty close on someone with the scout rifle and still win. Now, that's what makes these weapons so not necessarily overpowered, but just a little bit above the rest. Now, the SMGs and sidearms, I think, are in a really good place right now because they dominate in the area where they should dominate. They dominate the close range. Alright? That's the reason. Hand cannons are in probably the best state of balance in the game, in my opinion. As far as what balance should be, I believe hand cannons have the greatest example of this. Hand cannons are a relatively versatile weapon, covering between relatively close range and into medium range, probably borderline long range. I'm just gonna kind of leave it at that. Hand cannons are they're viable. You see people using hand cannons. You get killed by hand cannons, and if you ever use hand cannons yourself, there are quite a few good hand cannons out there. For example, Better Devils, Dire Promise, the Future War Cult hand cannon, True Prophecy is not too bad either. The Judgment hand cannon from the Trials of Osiris, also not that bad. But hand cannons are just in a good state. Now, pulse rifles, I believe, are in the worst state. Probably with the exception of Vigilance Wing, which kind of sees some use at close range. None of the pulse rifles are effective at any range besides medium, and not even really that effective at that, because so many other weapons are also effective at medium range. Hand cannons have medium range, ARs have a medium range, scout rifles have a medium range, and the problem here is that pulse rifles have only medium range, whereas if you're using an AR, you have all the way from close range to long range. If you're using a scout rifle, you have all the way from long range to medium range. But while using a pulse rifle, you are only going to have medium range. So essentially, I propose that the range of the auto rifles definitely needs a nerf. I would say scale up the damage fall off for them, just a little bit, to where once you start reaching into this, longer range area, you need a significant damage fall off. Now, the scout rifles, I would probably decrease their handling speeds, except for the, faster fire rate scout rifles, to where their level of effectiveness begins at the middle of medium range. We don't really want scout rifles to be having much effect on our close and medium range gameplay. Now, as for the hand cannons, once again, leave them alone. But pulse rifles, I would say they definitely need a bit of a handling buff, and also probably a stability buff to, add that extra range there, so that our pulse rifles look more like this. So that the pulse rifles really look similar to the assault rifles. I'm going to say not so similar, because they really shouldn't be in the close range that the assault rifles are. Alright, so that's it for today's video, and remember, as always,
spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight. Spooky, scary skeletons speak with such a screech, you'll shake and shudder